is going to change the world, and that is the 11th UNESCO African Engineering Week and the 9th African Engineering Conference 2025 coming to you in September right here in Kampala. Now, it will be under the theme leveraging engineering innovations and technology to accelerate Africa's socio-economic transformation. Now, this landmark event not only is about empowering the voices of young people into the engineering industry, but also to shape Africa's development future. Now in studio, I have the brilliant minds driving this event and movement, and I want them to introduce themselves to you. I'll start with Engineer Dr. Martin Manuhwa, Chairperson of the Steering Committee for Africa Engineering Week and Africa Engineering Conference 2025. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you. Greetings to our viewers.
Yes.
And thank you very much for having us. My name is Martin. I am the chairman of the Africa Engineering Steering Committee. I'm deployed here by UNESCO, the WFO, which is the World Federation of Engineering Organizations, as the chair of the steering committee. I'm also a past president of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations.
Big titles. And next to him is Engineer Refilwe Butalezi, President of the Federation of African Engineering Organization. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, and good morning to our viewers at home. It really is an honor for us to be here in Uganda today to talk about the Africa Engineering Week. I am the president of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations, and I'm the past president of the Engineering Council of South Africa. I'm happy to be here today.
Big titles too. I feel like I'm about to become an engineer at the end of the day.
Let's convert you.
And on my far left is Engineer Bosco Lepi, president of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers. Engineer Bosco, welcome to the show.
Yeah, greetings to you all, our viewers. My name is Engineer Bosco Lepi. I'm the president of Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers, which happen to be the host of this very, very important event. I'm happy to be here.
And we are happy to be with you. And for you who is at home watching, you can join the conversation using the hashtag AEW2025 Uganda and the hashtag UNESCO, that is UNESCO, AWEAEC2025 plus UIPEU updates. Use those hashtags to join the conversation, learn something, one or two about engineering, and probably you could become an engineer. But right about now, let's start our conversation today morning, and I'll start with you, ladies first.
Okay.
So, Engineer Refilwe,
yes.
What is the significance of this event on the African Engineering calendar, and how does the Federation of African Engineering Organization envision its impact beyond 2025?
Thank you very much. So the Africa Engineering Week is an event and a flagship event for the continent. It is aligned with the Africa Union 2063 agenda. It is aligned with the UNESCO Engineering Report. And the purposes of that is to, number one, not only celebrate engineering excellence, but to get the engineering professionals gather in a room with our politicians, with policymakers, with education, with academy, and to address the situation that we're facing today in the continent. How are we as engineering professionals going to contribute in enabling our own continent to address some of the societal challenges that we face? How are we going to contribute to the infrastructural growth that we have? You know, we hear people talk about Africa being a construction ground, right? How are we as engineering professionals going to contribute to that? So there is a huge opportunity for us as professionals, together with leaders in industry, with our politicians, and contribute to the decisions that need to be made. So that is the one aspect. The second aspect is we need to make sure that we are in the forefront of professional development of our own engineering professionals, we need to ensure we put systems in place for capacity building. We cannot say we want engineers to register as professional engineers, but we don't support them.
Yeah.
We don't put measures in place for them to be able to actually succeed in registering. We cannot say that we want them to register, but we don't talk to leaders in industry to provide them with work that will enable them to demonstrate competency. So we need to be driving that agenda. We also equally need to support the African free trade. We keep hearing about the movement of professionals. How do we then, as engineering professionals, as leaders in the profession, contribute to that? And this year, we actually have a workshop that is purely dedicated to registrars within the continent. We need to get to the bottom of mobility. We need to start talking MRAs. We need to start talking agreements within the IEA, International Engineering Alliances. How do we as engineering leaders how are we going to move towards that? And it is important because if we want to have an African continent that is going to grow, solve its own problems, capacitate its own professionals, we also have to speak about mobility. How do we recognize that an engineer that is registered in Uganda can go and do work in Tanzania and will be accepted as having been registered in Tanzania? That is mobility of professional engineering professions. So those are the conversations that we need to get to the bottom of. But also we need to celebrate. We need to celebrate the excellence of our professional engineers. We need to celebrate our engineering professionals, the innovative solutions that they come up with, the work that they do on a constant basis to solve problems. With drinking water, yesterday our minister spoke about drinking water and what it takes to make this bottle. It's not often that we talk about the work that engineering professionals do, but it's also not often that we talk about the solutions that we come up with in solving the mere solutions that you find that you need at home. We've got climate change. What can we do to ensure that at home, when our mothers cook, I'm a mother myself, we have it easy, right? We are addressing those situations. How can an engineering professional who's sitting in a rural area think about this? What exposure do they need to enable them to unlock that? So it is really a continental gathering that is multifaceted, that is aiming at ensuring that everybody is involved, no one is left behind at various levels in their career, from being a junior engineer entering to being a CEO who is also well established. We also have a CEO panel this year. We're running a panel roundtable for CEOs in the water utilities and CEOs in the energy utilities. And this year we're also graced by having a ministers forum. So we're gathering all the leaders in one event and ensure that they're accessible, but they're also assisting us in solving some of these challenges and unlocking some of these policy challenges that we as professionals might not necessarily have access to.
You have hinted on issues of mobility, engineers being able to move from one country to the other, especially in Africa, and do their job. But what are some of those glaring challenges as an engineering fraternity that really need to be solved today?
So some of the challenges that we need to solve, and I think we might not have played a significant role in that.
Yeah.
As engineering professionals, we often sit in our offices and we technically solve our technical problems. But what that has done is it has also prevented us from actually sitting with our political leaders and contributing to policies that are taken. And now we are finding engineering professionals sitting in cabinet. We are finding engineering professionals being part of the ministry. And that has not often been the case. We've often shied away from participating in politics because we want to do what we know best.
And then the policies are made without you.
Absolutely.
And then they affect you in the long run.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
So yeah.
So basically, the engineering week is all about encouraging the engineers, the professionals, to be part of the conversation and probably also relating with the policymakers themselves, as you put it. But right about now, I want to go to Engineer Bosco Lepi. What does hosting the UNESCO Africa Engineering Week and Africa Engineering Conference 2025 mean for Uganda's engineering profession and its role in Africa's development narrative?
Wow. Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. I must say that the role of engineers in shaping our economy cannot be underlooked. First of all, we have targets that we aim to achieve. We have the SDGs, we have the African Agenda 2063, that is at the global stage, continental stage. But locally in Uganda, we have our Vision 2040, the NDPs, now we are in 4. So what we are doing right now is that we have got support from different key stakeholders to have a successful event. So what is now happening is we have arranged to have events that are going to take place before the actual event. We're going to have a training on artificial intelligence. You know, Uganda is an agricultural country. Great. So artificial intelligence in agriculture is so critical that this very sitting must address. So a section of our members will be taken through that training, the purpose of which is to equip them such that they're able to contribute. Secondly, we are going to have the sports gala. This gala is supposed to bring all of us together. Most likely you could have seen us in our overalls and so on. But this time you want to...
Suits!
You have to see us in our jerseys. Yeah. And our chief guest during that event will be our line ministry, General Katoma Wamala. It will be a very good event. So this is what our members should expect. Then during the event, we have very high stake paper presentations. We have innovators that have been vetted. They're going to showcase what, as a country, we have been able to come up with. It also goes beyond Uganda. We have got innovations from beyond the borders. So our fraternity should expect this. We're also going to have a conference side engagement for women in engineering. You know, women also play a very critical role in this space. Another event will target our young professionals and future leaders. It is very critical that we develop the upcoming engineers by integrating their operations into what we do. Then subsequently, my president has talked about the ministerial forum. This, we are supposed to sit together in the house and try to come up with solutions to our African problems that we are better placed to address ourselves. We expect a number of guests from outside. So in the spirit of promoting tourism both locally and internationally, we have organized local tours. We want our visitors and our colleagues, engineers, to take up tourism. We shall be taking them to the parks, some of the sites, the source of the Nile, at least to appreciate what Uganda has in store for those who will be coming from outside, and quite a number of activities that I may note. So when this event is done, we expect our engineers during the event, we expect a lot of learning. Of course, during these presentations and so on, we need to learn to see how we better our things from best practices. We have the CEOs and so on that will make presentations. So our colleagues should be able to learn. We are supposed to do a lot of networking, both locally and beyond the borders. And in our hospitality industry, I was talking to my visitors. Uganda is one of the most very a good country to visit. I hope you have enjoyed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we are a very hospitable country. So it is important that we network, and we invite you to come back again next time. So a range of cocktails of events which will take place from 14th to 20th in Munyonyo, and it is only set to have a very successful event. So our engineers are encouraged to come and be part of this, because with a range of participations, a range of participants, there are a lot of things in stock for them. Thank you.
Engineer, after 10 years of having these conferences in other countries, finally it's here. Could you take us through a short and brief journey of either how difficult or how it was easy to bid for this event, and what actually it means to have it in Uganda?
Yeah. First of all, this is a very competitive event. One of the reasons why we have this, our visitors, to do a locus visit to ensure that we are ready to host. So we go through a bidding process, which we went through. It is a normal process that you go through a bidding process. It was competitive, so because of what we put into our bid, it emerged successful. The board, I think, which Madam President chairs, made that pronouncement that our bid was good enough to us. So we got that communication, and we went into preparation to have this. So it is not like a walk in the park, you just go and get. It is a very competitive event. You know, Africa has so many countries, so to get it, I think it is an honor. Like for Uganda to host this time, and we are putting everything possible to make it memorable. We don't want to compare it to any other. We were in discussion
the
with
best ever.
Yeah, the best ever.
Well, for you who is watching again, understand the importance of this week and the conference. Be part of it. Make use of the opportunity that you have. After 10 years, we have had the opportunity as Uganda to host the event. So make use of it. Go and learn something that you didn't know yesterday. But coming to Dr. Martin, Engineer Bosco has talked about sightseeing and experiencing Uganda. Have you done that so far?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Oh, yes. In fact, as you were speaking, I noticed we have moved around. It's a beautiful, it's indeed, like Churchill said, the Pearl of Africa. Mm-hmm. What I then also noticed is you are hosting the Chan.
Yes.
And this is the
we are hosts of everything.
And this is the number 11. So we are now a football team.
Indeed.
Of events, and I think later on we'll go through the transcending success of the Africa Engineering Week, starting from Johannesburg in 2014 up to Uganda in 2025. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So, Doctor, just going back to the conversation. So how can engineering innovations become the engine for socio-economic transformation across Africa? But are there specific success stories that you can point to that have pushed Africa to the forefront?
Thank you very much for the pertinent question. Coming from my background from the World Federation of Engineering Capacity Building, and getting so much interested in the role of engineering in national development. Because we have observed from the beginning that without engineering, there is no development to talk about. You look at countries like China, the United States, most of Europe, all their development is 90% attributable to engineering. And Africa cannot use any other formula. So our role is to build that engineering cadre in terms of quality, in terms of numbers and also the needs to solve the African problems. And you know these problems are many. I remember in 1963 when the Africa Union, and then the OAU was formed. President Kwame Nkrumah then said, we would like technology, we would like engineers, scientists to green the deserts, to bring technology, to bring electricity. This vision was cast in 1963. And unfortunately, Africa as a group has not been doing well on that front for the very same reasons that the president of FAO and the president of UIUP has said. We still need to build the numbers, the quality, the capacity. So there are some success stories in Africa. In fact, I would like to begin by the latest that really is close to my heart, manufacturing. A look at the bus project here in Uganda, almost nearing 30% of locally domestic engineering capacity in terms of the materials, the steel for the bodies, the chassis, and also the manufacturing of the parts. It's on none but ourselves as African engineering can do that. And for us to do that, we need to learn lessons. We have a very high level of manufacturing capacity in South Africa, Egypt, Morocco. And what I think as Africa, and also as the professional organization, is to ensure that we transfer that technology across Africa and from across our borders from China and ensure that we deal with our policies, we lobby our policymakers to at least encourage value addition for raw materials, to at least encourage quotas in terms of the mega projects that are happening in Africa, most of which are going to foreign international companies. So we can set quotas of 40% local content. We can also have joint venture policies to say no one can come and work in our environment before they can build the capacity of the locals. So there are a lot of examples, especially from our youth, the dividend, what I call the youth dividend. These are youngsters, young future leaders that are very good at the technology of the future. You talk of artificial intelligence, you talk of coding, you talk of big data analytics, and all those other technologies coming in now, which is the future, which is almost a $30 trillion economy by 2030. Africa must have a cake on that. So we have examples to learn from, and working with the World Federation of Engineering organizations, we have designed an engineering capacity building project for Africa. It's a program that will take prioritized areas like water plus AI, energy plus AI, infrastructure plus AI, and with it we are going to build capacity as much as we can, depending on the financing and also the political will of our leaders. This is why I thank Uganda for bringing in your government at the level of head of state, your ministers of public works, and transport and infrastructure, ministers of science and technologies, are working closely with the organizers of this year's edition of the Africa Engineering Week. But I could go on, but these are the few examples that I can cite for now.
Indeed. And at this juncture, I want to come to you, Engineer Refilwe. Among the sub-themes, of course, that the conference is covering, there is ranging from industrialization, infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and engineering education. Where should Africa focus most urgently, and why?
We need to focus on all of them.
Is it possible?
And it is, because sometimes they speak about an energy, water, and agricultural nexus. Yeah. We cannot leave one behind. And the purposes of that, and the reason why that is important now, is because, as Engineer Martin has said, we might be at a point where we are too late. We have not been thinking about a way that we would attack these now. And we have a lot of pull and push factors. We've got climate change. We've got our population brain drain. We've got to ensure that we put all our hands on deck. We attack all of these aggressively, but it has to somehow be in parallel. And if we have an issue with water, we can all know and we can all see it starts affecting agriculture. It starts affecting our energy sector. It starts affecting manufacturing. If we have an issue with it starts affecting the economy. It starts affecting our livelihoods, especially with water. We have an issue with energy. We've seen with South Africa and what load shedding has done. Yeah. And I'm proud to say that ESCOM is one of the principal sponsors of this event. They've committed to come through because they also see value in the conversations that we will be having. Our CEO of Rand Water in South Africa is also committed to attend. And so are other CEOs of various countries that we've invited. Ghana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Congo, and our very own in Uganda will also be there. So we are having committed and commitment from CEOs of all these SOEs. This is a sign that they too believe in the importance of the conversation. But we also need to then understand that without what is important to Engineer Manoa, who spoke about it now, manufacturing, we cannot grow our economy from country to country and then ultimately our continent. What is our contribution to the value chain? We cannot simply be consumers. Yeah. As Africans. And as professionals, we cannot sit and watch other countries take from us raw material and sell to us finished products. What is our stance in that? And we then have to start talking to that. We then have to start seeing what does the geopolitics look like? What do these geopolitics say to ourselves as African continents? And how are we going to try and protect our countries as best as we can, and our continent as best as we can, being the technocrats that we are. So we have to run these in parallel. We have to ensure we put systems in place to tackle all of these. But at the center of all of that is we need the numbers. We need to watch our pipeline. What is happening at a school level? Are we focusing on ensuring that those students are doing STEM subjects? Who is assisting them? Do we have tutors in place with that? Do we have guidance in place for that? What's happening at our universities? And ultimately, what's happening with professional development? Do we have systems in place for continuous development so that our professionals remain competent and able to do the job that is at hand? So, and that will enable us to avoid the aspect of outsourcing consultants, of outsourcing construction, because we say we don't have enough professionals, we don't have enough engineers. So we need to start today. We need to join hands and we need to be intentional about it.
Engineer Bosco, something Engineer Refilo has pointed to is that we are playing catch-up. And when you look at Uganda in particular, and Africa as a continent, we have a lot of brilliant minds. In your opinion, why do you think we have lagged so much behind when we have resources like minerals, we have good climate overall, we have all these circumstances that would ideally put us as one of the richest continents in the world, but we are not?
That is true, and I must say that realizing that we find ourselves in that situation is very, very important, because it is after that realization that we can pick up ourselves and we move towards achieving our goals. I think in the past, as my colleagues have stated, Africa has been looked at as a source of raw materials. So for that reason, even projects that are brought in Africa here, they are mainly undertaken by expatriates. There is no deliberate move for scale transfers. So I think we are now having conversations to ensure that when we have such projects, first of all, a certain percent a certain percent has to be undertaken by locals. Then secondly, there should be a deliberate move for skill transfers in this project, which I believe was not the case in the past. Thank you.
All right, Doctor, I come back to you with the Innovation Forum, which will showcase, of course, groundbreaking ideas, many from African youth. You mentioned AI in agriculture, which will also be a key training focus. So what role will the Innovation Forum play in practical tech transfer? And how can these innovations scale beyond the conference hall? Because time after time we've seen so many conferences being held, talks, dialogues, but everything stops there. What can be done to actually put these in action?
Thank you, Idris. I think the missing cog here is the policy framework that we need to infuse by this dialogue with our policymakers. You understand the ministers will be there, the CEOs will be there, and academia and other players and the professionals themselves will be there. We need to leapfrog. And this transformation is a journey where the innovations that our young or our innovators are going to display should be taken up, across the value chain from ideation to the hub mindset, where we can then further have proof of concepts and then development. So what is going to happen is there's going to be a matchmaking. We're now doing things very differently, and the matchmaking is such that the young or the innovators are going to be matched with relevant industries, where there is going to be a contractual buy-in and support from the professional engineering bodies, from the FAO, from the World Federation, to ensure that the IP is respected, and then the funds are infused for further development of these ideas. It's no secret that's how the Silicon Valley developed, especially from garages. And now we have very smart engineers. We now even have very supportive ministers. I would like to particularly single out the minister from Uganda for Science and Technology and Innovation, who has gone out of her way to ensure that the innovation incubation becomes a success. We never had this type of support before. We don't take it for granted. And as such, we then want to have a pipeline or a value chain of this innovation ecosystem, not at only these shores, but as a continuum going forward, where we now need to identify, trace, track, and work with the innovators as government, as professional bodies, as industries, work out into this value chain or relationship ecosystem with structured partnerships. That way we can leapfrog. It's no secret that's the secret China is using. It's the secret the US is using. They've now even introduced coding and AI at age 6. What are our policymakers doing? And I think this is the conversation that we'll be getting out throughout the engineering week. So it's now time to put all our hands on the deck, like the president has said, and it's now time to work together as Team Africa for a transformational engineering renaissance. Without engineering, like I said, engineers are solution providers. Normally they were in the background, back office. No one knew what they are doing. Engineers' hand is in every product that we consume, 100%.
True.
Yes.
Every aspect, literally, of our lives, from shoes, the clothes we wear, the sewing machine you use to sew, the chairs that we are seated on,
the suits,
the mics, the television that you
everything.
have. Every single thing. And something that you've mentioned that kind of like jumped to my head, to my mind, is the fact that countries like China and the US are introducing coding for 6-year-olds. And when you look at Africa, literally careers begin after 18 years. That is 18 years of a child's potential being lost. And to that, The conference is hosting a Young Engineers and Future Leaders Forum and the Africa Women's Engineer Forum, a strong nod to inclusivity and, of course, the next generation. And I come to you, Engineer Refilwe. How is the Federation of African Engineering Organizations supporting women and young people in the engineering take-up space and innovation leadership? So,
as the first female president of the Engineering Council of South Africa.
Quite an achievement.
I can safely say, without the leaders of the profession being intentional about inclusivity, we will never achieve it.
Indeed.
If we still have situations where we have young professionals sitting in a room and talking about how they are excluded, and we have women sitting in a room and talking about gender bias and stereotype, and the men are nowhere to be seen, we will never achieve diversity and inclusivity. So as FAO, we are very intentional about ensuring that this is a collective conversation. This is a conversation that happens between the board to the council, and in every committee there is a diverse group of members who participate. So we have chairpersons who are from the youth, we have a chairperson from the professionals who are young, and it's led by a lady called Doreen from Kenya. We've got the chairperson of the FAO Academy, a flagship project of FAO, which is trying to ensure that we bring down all the borders of when it comes to capacity building. That is led by Engineer Sophia from Ghana. We've got committees that are led by secretariats who are male as well, because gone are the days where we start thinking of secretary job taking minutes as a female job. We've got men now coming up and saying, I will be the secretariat. So we're really promoting that. And for the Africa Engineering Week, we want that participation to continue. We've got at this Africa Engineering Week business-to-business activities, where we're inviting business sectors from across the continent to partner up with the youth, to partner up with the women, to talk about areas of exchange, of interest, and let's see what promotion that will bring about. So we really want to ensure that we do not leave any woman behind. We've got a nuclear chapter, which is also new at the FAO, and that nuclear chapter is chaired by Engineer Flora from Kenya as well. So we're intentionally putting the women and the youth in areas where ordinarily you would not find them, and they're thriving because they now see that we believe in what they can achieve. And with that, the sky is the limit.
And seeing is believing.
Seeing is believing, right?
So seeing you in being president?
Yeah.
I guess in a few years we shall have another female president.
No, we've had one. I mean, we had Engineer Kalian Butcherdit from Kenya who came through and is a woman that I'm learning a lot from, and she's still very supportive in the work of FAO. So I would, at FAO, be the second female president, but there's a lot more coming. Perfect. There's a lot of interest because seeing is believing, and as they see that this can be achieved, nothing can stop them.
It is possible.
It is possible.
Engineer Bosco, I want to come to you. So what deliberate steps is the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers taking to grow the local pipeline of skilled engineers in Uganda, especially women and youth?
Yeah, thank you very much. At UIPE, we are deliberately moving towards that. First of all, we have a program targeting the young people in school. We have the mentorship program. UIPE is structured in such a way that we have our branches that are spread across the country. Currently, we have 8 branches, more or less touching every corner of this country. So through those our branches, we reach out to schools to talk to them about STEM, to interest them into engineering. And for women, we have a dedicated committee for women engineers, technicians, and technologists. They always have conversations on how to support specifically the girl child throughout that pipeline up to when they become engineers. What is it that we do for the women that are already engineers? In the formation of UIP Council, it is mandatory that I think up to 30–40% should be female, and we always stick to this. In addition to that, we ensure that they are supported through advocacy, especially their workplaces. We know the engineering space historically has been occupied, dominated by male. So we have the advocacy wing to ensure that much as we have our sisters, our female engineers, they should be convenient as they execute their duties. So these are some of the activities as an institution we do for them. Thank you.
Incredible. So as we age towards the close of our conversation today, I want to start with you, Dr. Martin. What is that one thing that you would want someone who attends the conference and the week to go away with and think about deeply?
Thank you very much. The takeaway is a call for action. Let's find one thing that we can do as African people to develop our continent. We must have one thing in mind. The future, as we know it, is designed by us. Let us at this conference design the future. And let me remind the participants to come in their numbers from all across the divide, and that the best time to plant a tree is today. Is now. So let us come and plant the seeds for development, for the renaissance, for the Africa we want. And this is the time. Let's come and support the Africa Engineering Week. And from the World Federation of Engineering President, Mustafa Shehu, he also passes regards and encouragement for the rest of Africa, and indeed our supporters from the world, to come and share ideas so that Africa will never be the same again. Yeah. Yes.
One last question, Doctor. Looking back to the first time you realized you wanted to be an engineer, what inspired you? For a child, a youth, a young engineer to be watching today, what inspired you? What snapped your mind to know that I want to be an engineer?
Thank you. Thank you. In fact, when President Refilwe was speaking about role models, my father was working at a mine, and we had a mine engineer that was very creative, that I used to observe as a kid. And I asked, what is this profession called? I was told it's called mining engineering. What do they do? I was told they're the ones who pull the ore from down. How do they pull it? There's a skip, there's electricity down there. And I said, no, I may not be interested in the skip. How is the electricity? Then from that age, I never looked back. So it's role models. I think we need more female role models. We also need more male role models so that nobody is left behind. And once this modeling is done, then we need to nurture it. I also got support from my mother, who really wanted all her kids to go to school, even from a very poor background. Yes. Amazing. That inspired me.
Amazing. Engineer Refilwe, first of all, what is the takeaway you hope people walk away after the conference is done?
The main takeaway for me is access. I would like that everybody who attends this realizes, or rather, us as the organizers of this, ensure that we enable, we empower, and we provide access. Everybody who attends this conference must walk away knowing where to go when they seek assistance. Whether you are still studying in high school and you need assistance, whether you're at university and you need mentorship or you need a bursary, whether you are now in corporate and you want to venture into being an entrepreneur, where can you get access for funding, who can give you the support that you need, or whether you have intentions or endeavors to grow in the career space of an SOE? Who do you talk to? So I would want us to create access for everybody at any time in their career, that they walk away knowing that we have created that for them. If you have political intentions or ambitions, you've got ministry there to talk to them. You've got CEOs there. You've got ourselves there. You've got young professionals that can mentor others. So we want to create access across the value chain, across the pipeline of an engineering professional. That is what I want them to.
Engineer Bosco, before you tell me your takeaway, what opportunities should Ugandans, especially businesses, tech startups, academia, what are some of the opportunities they should look out for during the week?
Yeah, I will start straight away with professional engineers. I think there'll be a lot of learning opportunities, networking opportunities, not only now local, but at continental and global reach. I know we are going to have the B2B. We need to get business opportunities, investment opportunities. What is it that can be done? We already have a lot of innovations. Can they be taken up for production such that we can be seen in the market? Can we transform what our innovators were able to put together into market and then solve our local problems? I think those are very, very critical. And our general population, they should expect, because we are expecting visitors from beyond our borders. Of course, there is opportunities to network, opportunities to business opportunities, and the trickle-down effect of our visitors being here, including even Chan.
Indeed. So, Engineer Bosco, again, as I asked your counterparts, what is the takeaway that you hope anyone who attends the conference the week goes away with? And also, what's your journey in becoming an engineer? Probably to inspire a young person watching you today.
My journey has been a long journey, but finally I'm here. I started, I think I was eloped to see my potential as I grew up, because deep in my village, I was able to support them in solving so many problems. And as I grew up, I realized engineers are problem solvers.
Indeed.
So I happened to support the family, the community where I live, in solving problems. And at that time, I didn't know there is something I don't have a solution to. Not until I reach somewhere. So that will
you
be
grew
for,
up.
that will be for another day. Yeah. So about this conference, first of all, it is important that we reach out, we come and talk, such that we be together and come up with something. My take on this is that when we get out of this, I want us to develop Team Africa. All these brains that are going to be under one roof, we need to come up with Team Africa. Innovation is something which we cannot now hide. It is only what we can take us through. We already have the policies and everything in place. We need to come together and then we move. And I think that is what is very, very critical. You know, as we kept growing up, we had a lot of individual excellence. Yes. Maybe doctor was the best in the class and so on. It is time now to transform that into group excellence. So my vision is that after this, Team Africa should be able to come up with solutions that will solve our local problems as Africa.
With over 54 countries,
yes.
It is possible.
Yeah.
And for you who has been watching at home, I want to remind you the 11th UNESCO Africa Engineering Week and 9th African Engineering Conference 2025 is about unlocking Africa's potential. So mark your calendars, 14th to 20th September, right here in Kampala, Uganda. Be part of it and also continue the conversation using the hashtag AEW 2025 Uganda and the hashtag UNESCO AWEAEC 2025 and UIPEU updates. Go to our social media platforms, that is NTV Uganda, and continue the conversation. Again, it is an important conversation, but also if you missed this dialogue, you can catch it right there. Go to our YouTube channel, that is NTV Uganda, or our website www.ntv.co.ug. Well, to my panelist, Engineer Refilwe Butelezi, President of the Federation of African Engineering Organizations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Engineering Bosco Lepi, President of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers. Thank you, sir. And Dr. Martin Manuhwa, Engineer, Chairperson of Steering Committee for Africa Engineering Week and Africa Engineering Conference 2025. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now I am Engineer Idris Matusegui.
You are not allowed to use that.
You did.
Yeah.
So thank you, our
We shall
viewers.
take you through a process.
It did. I'm inspired. So thank you so much for being with us. Right now, I'm going to leave you with a small video to catch you up with some of the information that we've been talking to, but stay alert and look out for those dates, September 14th to 20th. Be part of it. Goodbye.
Requires improvement. It's not, we cannot boast and say it's very good. No, there are many areas that require improvement. In terms of the human resource, in terms of how many engineers we have who have gone through school, how many technologists, how many technicians, even artisans and the cadres at that level. So there's a lot required in terms of human resource. But also in terms of innovations, we're still far behind when you compare ourselves with the engineering sector in Uganda. There's a lot we can do to improve the state of the engineering sector in Uganda. That also goes with the equipment. We still need a lot of equipment, technical expertise to be able to improve the engineering sector in Uganda, to provide the necessary service that will help the economy to grow, but also provide the necessary services to the population. There's an engineering index which was done some time back, I think 4 years ago, by the Royal Academy of Engineering, and you could see that Uganda is lagging behind when you compare with many other countries. Even in Africa, there are countries that are ahead of us, like of course South Africa, like even Kenya, our neighbors. So there's a lot we can do. The good thing is that we have the president advocating for sciences and promoting technology, and of course even our national documents, the NDP4 and others are emphasizing science and technology and also engineering. Leveraging innovation and technology is actually not just for engineers, as I've already mentioned, because it's for the whole country, it's for the entire society, to make sure that we promote engineering and technology. We're able to use equipment that's before us appropriately. We're also able to improve on our manpower, the human capital, to make sure that we're able to deliver, to be innovative, to be able to be productive. So it's for all of us. But of course, the engineers are at the center of it all. So I think that's why we need to make sure that we really promote engineering and technology, and of course innovation for growth. We are planning an African Engineering Week and African Engineering Conference, and so want to invite participants to submit papers and also to submit innovations that we can display, and also those who can sponsor in different ways to come up and support these activities.
I am Engineer Andrew Mwenzi, immediate past president of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers, but I'm an engineer in practice. I work with the National Water and Sewerage Corporation, where I serve as the chief manager for water production in the Kampala Water Service area. The 11th UNESCO Africa Engineering Week and the 9th African Engineering Conference will take place in Kampala, Speak Resort Convention Center, Nyonyo, from the 14th to 20th of September 2025, under the theme Leveraging Engineering, Innovation and Technology to Accelerate Africa's Socio-Economic Transformation. This is a very, very progressive theme, and it's going to bring together several engineering practitioners from across the continent, and hopefully some friends from across the globe, and of course, we the practitioners in Uganda, policymakers, students, all members of the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers. We are going to have several innovators and technology vendors exhibiting the latest technologies that are defining the skyline on many topical issues in the engineering industry. So if you want to know what is trending in the engineering industry, this is the place to be. But also there will be breakaway sessions, knowledge sharing sessions, presentations, and of course learning is a continuous undertaking in human endeavor. And if you want to sharpen your knowledge and exposure in the aspects of agriculture, the aspects of water and irrigation, the aspects of climate change, renewable energy, industry, infrastructure, and accompanying measures, this is really the place to be. You'll meet subject matter experts, you'll meet fellow researchers, you'll meet academicians, practitioners, policymakers in any of these aspects. And definitely, you can't come out of the conference in the same way. Your knowledge level will be very, very, very high. And I encourage everybody to come and attend this conference. The conference will take place from the 14th to the 20th of September 2025. So for all registration purposes, you go through the link. You can participate in different ways. You can participate as an exhibitor, as an innovator. You can participate in the panel discussions. You can participate in the Q&A as a member of the audience, as a participant. You can participate as a sponsor, and certainly a conference which is going to bring everybody on the African continent in the engineering fraternity in the same room. I expect that we need quite some resources to facilitate the conference. So we call upon friends, partners, to the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers, to the engineering fraternity, to come up and support us by way of sponsorship, but also by sponsoring participants in different agencies. And there will be definitely very many stakeholders having specific sessions addressing different levels of the topics, at policy level, at the practice level, at research level, at tactical level. So you'd expect to find different levels of engagement in this conference. So it will be very important that we all converge for the full week in Munyonyo, Kampala, and spend the whole week discussing how engineering is interfacing with the different facets of society, the different facets of human endeavor.